What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a car vlog. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. If nobody tells you that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well, I'm praying for you guys. So I hope you guys are praying for me. Make sure you subscribe to the Take It Home podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics and I put up my matches as Classic Alpha, professional wrestler of 13 years. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling, me and my wife's professional wrestling company that we will be getting back 100% tomorrow. August 30th is the day. Tomorrow, Dyer, Indiana, Harold's private venue, the 11th hour. Get your tickets. Tickets are still on sale. They are still $5 off on Eventbrite, so get your tickets. What up, Robert Brown? What up, brother? Lafayette in the building. Good morning. Make sure you get your tickets for the 11th hour in Dyer, Indiana, Harold's private venue. Tickets are $5 off on Eventbrite, but they can be sold at the door, $5 more. Bars. I wanted to talk about something. I've been putting this off, not to say like purposely, but I'm thinking about other stuff. I'm not gonna cry in the car. But still, I try to be as transparent as I can about the business without telling too much that's already being told, right? I've been doing this channel for some years now. I've been wrestling for a lot longer. I've been a promoter for years and stuff like that. And sometimes I have my own personal takes and my own personal opinions about certain things with wrestling. And I use my wrestling experience and expertise on how I see things, ways that I was trained to think, and then also how I think as a man myself. So fans have that same notion as well as being an observer and stuff like that. See, what I try to do is I try to say things that I agree and disagree with the most respectfully. I think the most craziest thing that I've said outside of the Jackson thing is I've called Triple H fool a couple times, and I had to catch myself because I'm not trying to come off as disrespectful, but sometimes it does happen, and I do catch myself when I say these kind of things. So with that being said, I have said things that some people agree with and some people have not. Do I personally get offended when people disagree with what I say or just because I'm a wrestler or I'm a promoter or in the game for a long time? Nah. No, I think that you can respectfully disagree. Now, I've had some comments where people said something, and it's like I did feel like they was in their feelings about the situation. I was just like, why can't you just say you disagree? But I can't police what somebody says. Now, I can either ignore it or I can get on you for coming into the house with the shoes on and then take them off at the door. And that's happened. What's up? What's going on, Penelope? What's going on, Arshawn? But still, it's like, I don't mind people who disagree, or if you say, hey, I see one point but don't see it all. I do know that some people take it as a personal attack, especially when you get on a social media platform and you say something, and then as soon as somebody disagrees, they're a hater, they don't know this, and they don't know that. Now, speaking from somebody who's been in the game for a long time, there are some things that fans do not know about the game. At the same time, they're not supposed to, right? I think with a lot of wrestlers and people doing bad behind the scenes stuff, they're getting a little too carried away with it. And some fans do feel a sense of entitlement of knowing what goes on in the locker room, beyond the curtain. They're using our terminology, our jargon. They're using it. They're comfortable. They're interviewing wrestlers and they're using stuff that they're not supposed to. And wrestlers are just, oh yeah, we do this all the time, and let me tell you about this and let me tell you about that. That trickles down to even people's fans' personal opinions about certain wrestlers and stuff. Low key, when I spoke about The Undertaker and how I felt he done his friend wrong, I've had a couple people like say, oh, well, you're crying or fake outrage. And I'm like, this is an opinion. I'm not saying don't support Undertaker. I'm not saying don't support his wife, don't support WWE. I'm just saying he did his friend foul. He did his friend foul. Davey Locker Room Jones, foul. Foul stench. Foul. You need 2 free throw shots. His homie Matt needs 2 free throw shots for being done so foul. It was flagrant. and fragrant because it was foul. It had a stench. It had an odor, right? I'm just saying. So to me, I voiced my opinion on it. And people, and I said this too in the video, big fans of Undertaker, obviously. And some was like, oh, well, everybody would have did the same thing. And I disagree. And then one person was like, why don't you cry harder? And it's just like, first of all, I'm still an Undertaker fan. I just don't like how Mark did what he did. So let's let's get this out the way. And I spoke about it in the video. I was like, I felt that Matt did not speak about how he really felt about the situation and didn't dive deeper into it because he knew that people on social media would have got on him. They would have got on him just like these couple people tried to get on me about the situation. Oh, nobody cares about the show. It's just about the Undertaker. Undertaker could have did this with anybody and people would have looked, which could be true, obviously, but at the same time, it wasn't his idea. And that was the problem that I had. It was his idea that, hey, let's do this, and then Mark did it, right? And then now he did it, flipped it, rubbed it, SmackDown, flipped it and reversed it, and he does it with his wife now under WWE's banner. I'm just saying, like, I think Matt knew his worth to the podcast and knew that The Undertaker was the star of the show, but he knew he did a great job with talking and reeling them in about stuff because, no offense to some of the older wrestlers, but they ramble a lot and sometimes they forget what they're talking about. Trust me, I've seen it live. I'm not going to say who did it, but still, you know what I'm saying? So with those kind of comments, this is not something that like bothers me to the fact that where I gotta disrespect them or I gotta say, hey, you don't know the business and stuff like that, because it's all opinions at the end of the day, right? So I don't really get offended. I can sit here, I can defend myself if I do feel like I am disrespected, but it is what it is. I mean, when I've done lives before, people in the comments, they have said like, oh, they don't, you know, because lives, they pop up in people's algorithm and people are like, oh, well, wrestling is that F word that I don't like using and stuff. Oh, well, I don't know why this here, but this is that. And I'm like, hey, you know, you don't have to watch. You know, you could respectfully like leave because we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that kind of stuff here, right? We know wrestling for what it is and stuff like that. And I can talk about certain things, but I don't talk about everything. Now, fans have wrestling channels, podcasts, journalism, all this stuff and degrees and stuff. They have a right to talk about what they want to talk about. They have a right to comment. If the comment section is available, they have a right to comment what they want to. Now, I can control what people do when they send a comment. I can block it, I can block them, I can do all of that stuff. But I'm not in the business of doing that kind of stuff because some people do have an opinion. And maybe you can shed a better light on what I'm thinking about or how I carry myself in the business. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Now, am I going to ask, hey, what about this and certain things with wrestling and the aspect of the business? No, I'm not. But at the same time, what's going on, John? At the same time, I am going to be like, okay, well, just listen to what I'm saying, especially on this channel. This comes from a lot of experience and expertise. And on the same side, I'm not saying that I know everything. Things change. Platforms change, wrestling change, fans change. Podcast change. Tupac made a song called Changes. There's a group called Changing Faces. A lot of years ago, some people probably have more expertise on how to run a channel, how to run a podcast and stuff like that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm all seeing and all knowing like the Most High, of course, when it comes to certain things and certain aspects of it. Even with wrestling, right? Yes, I am a wrestling fan, even though I am a wrestler and a wrestler promoter and booker. But at the same time, I am a fan. I was a fan first before all of that stuff. So that does not mean that my assumptions are always correct. I have wrestlers that I like. There are wrestlers that I don't like. Not like, when I say don't like, I don't mean on a personal level because I don't know these people on a personal level. I'm talking about like wrestling skill, wrestling character, and all of that stuff. Just like everybody else. A lot of people aren't fans of some of the wrestlers that I like, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, you don't know real wrestling. Like, I don't think that's just something that would really come out of my mouth besides what I just said to a fan, right? So I may disagree and we may talk about a little wrestling history. Change in your pocket. Yes. Change a tire. Change. Anyway, I'm sorry. Went on ramble. But still, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, you know, be that disrespectful or anything like that. But at the same time, like I said, I do ask for people to respect this business. You know, some people don't. I try not to use profanity because some kids do watch this, and I also run other companies, so I try not to have profanity on this channel. If it does slip out, I'm sorry, because I do want people to try to hear like some of my insight and also see some of the things that I'm promoting. Like we have a show tomorrow in Dyer, Indiana, the 11th hour. Would love people to come out there and see some great wrestling, family-friendly entertainment. Tickets are very cheap at the time and stuff like that. And if you have a lot of family and stuff, you can hit me up and we can work on deals and stuff, because this is something that this is how I serve the community, right? But also I want to serve the community by also saying this too. Like, hey, we are wrestlers. We do love what we do for the most part and stuff like that. I can sit here and talk to you guys and be respectful. I don't have to be like, no offense to these other channels, wrestlers who have channels or former wrestlers who have channels. I don't have to tell you like everything that's behind the curtain because I'm disgruntled about what happened with my career in wrestling. I don't have to do this because I want clicks and likes and stuff like that. I love talking to you guys. I love talking to you guys. I love that you guys comment and stuff like that. Give me love back with subscribing, with commenting, with likes and stuff like that. And like I said, we don't have to see eye to eye, but this is something that I truly enjoy doing, right? What up, Yellow? C3 Eve, yes sir. What up, Zelda boy? What's going on? WWE and AEW, I'll say this. I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't even been paying attention to them since like last week. I don't know if it's because we have our wrestling show tomorrow, or I'm just sick of just something is just not exciting anymore. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I had to choose one, I'd probably enjoy WWE more than AEW, because I feel like AEW is like the elevation window. I think they're at their peak. I think they need to do something a little bit fresh and new, and it's just not working. But they still have the potential, but I don't think they're going to do it. I just think that too many people are stuck in their ways. Flip side on WWE, same thing. I think they're so successful and stuff like that they don't care what they're doing as long as they're making money. I feel like the quality and a lot of the PLEs and the shows have went down drastically, especially after WrestleMania 40. Like everything, not everything, but after WrestleMania 40, the PLE went down, the match quality wasn't good, some of the stuff in the matches was repetitive. It's just not as interesting as it was to me last year. I keep telling myself I'm going to go back and look at some of the YouTube clips I missed, but I don't. Hey, if I miss it, I miss it. I don't even know. Is there an event this weekend? Is Clash of Paris this weekend? So I don't know. I don't know. So I don't even be knowing when these PLEs and PPVs happen at this point. I don't, but still, does that make today the 10th hour? Yes, it does. We are converting hours into days. This is the 10th hour, so got to make sure everything is set up right so we can get this company back. But still, going back into it, yes, fans can have their own opinions. I only ask just be respectful. You can say I disagree. I think that Undertaker did a great business deal. You know, he's smart and all that. There's a difference between that and then telling me, oh, it's common sense that people should do something like this, or you're rage baiting and stuff like that. Fake outrage. How you gonna tell me how I feel? How you gonna tell me how I feel? Like, oh, you don't really feel mad. You're just saying it because. No, I'm saying it because I disagree with it. Fake outrage. Like, not one time did I say stop looking at the Undertaker, stop supporting him and stuff like that. I don't say that. The only time I say it when it comes to wrestlers is if they're very evil or if they're very unsafe in the ring. That's the only way. WWE is in a rut. They are just throwing CM Punk and Roman Reigns into the last 5 minutes of every Raw. Yes, I've noticed that too. Roman Reigns is just showing up, and then people don't know he's showing up, but they're already looking at the entrance because they know he's showing up. Inception. So it's like, okay, cool. You have these guys, these people. They want to see Roman. They want to see Punk. They want to see Jay. They want to see these people. And they like, here, hurry up, watch it before it goes off. It's not special. That stuff is not special. They are making money. Cities are bidding for them to show up in their city, their companies, their buildings, their venues, but it's just not the same. It just, the quality is just real bad. That's why C3 Ultimate Wrestling is top tier quality, and I think a lot of you guys should come out and see the show. Not sitting here saying, um, the product sucks, WWE sucks, but they can definitely be better with everything that they're going on. And I'm like, I think it's very smart that they stopped doing the media stuff where they was asking interviewers and stuff to ask questions, because I do think that more people was gonna crack the Da Vinci Code with how y'all are doing things and stuff like that, because I do think that some people are just supporting for the fear of missing out. FOMO, for real. What's going on, Lion, in 2012? Peace from Toronto, back again. I love your videos. Keep up the good work, brother. Appreciate it, man. And honestly, that like warms my heart when like people give me some love with that and stuff like that, because like I said, I'm coming from a positive place. And even though I disagree with certain things in wrestling or what a wrestler does, it's not to be disrespectful. And I think that most people who disagree with me, they're not coming like that neither. But I do know that there are some wrestlers, especially who've been in the game for a while, they take offense to like everything, because they'll be like, hey, you shouldn't say this or whatever like that. But no, you are a consumer. So if you are a consumer, you're going to give a review. If you go to a restaurant, you may not be a chef or a cook or whatever like that, but if you eat some food and you don't like it, you can say that you don't like it. Now, if the chef gets offended or whatever like that, then that's between them and the chef or whatever. Like now, if you're a person that says, oh, it's not medium and it's a medium, okay, cool. I can sit there and say why the chef is upset or whatnot. But like when it comes to like certain things, if I didn't like the steak, I didn't like the steak, and I can say what I didn't like about the steak. Right? It doesn't matter that you're a 5-star Michelin chef. It doesn't matter all of this stuff. It doesn't matter about none of that stuff. If the steak isn't good, it isn't good. It's probably not a disrespect. So even as a wrestler and stuff like that, fans can say the same thing. If they don't like the steak that WWE is cooking, they can send it back, or they can talk about how bad it is. So that's how I feel. I think I'm gonna close on that one. That was a bar. That truly was a bar. But yeah, I don't really get offended by comments. I can disagree. I mean, if you do get disrespectful, I'm gonna kill you with kindness, for real. So before you head out, when you take back control of C3, have you decided you'll keep any board members? Man, I want to get rid of all of them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm so focused on the match. What I don't want to do is, and what I messed up with and how I lost the company, is I put a lot of stuff on my plate. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do all of this stuff. And then it got slightly overwhelming. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to sit there and say, well, what's going to happen when we win? I want to win first. So I hope you guys have a wonderful morning. God bless you guys. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home. One match, one day. Yes, sir.